Have you ever tried mantras or affirmations and got virtually limited or no results? Well, what if I was to tell you there were 3 words you could use that would specifically give you everything that you need? And on this video, I'll not only show you how to use them, but also when to use them. Now, before I share with you exactly what the 3 words are, let me give you some context based upon what Einstein said was the most powerful question you could ask or answer in your lifetime. That was whether you lived in a friendly or hostile universe. And if you think you live in a hostile universe, you're going to see everything through a fear-based lens. Everything with teeth is going to eat you. If you live in a friendly universe, you're going to see setbacks that are part of the plan as you unfold your destiny in a non-linear way. But what Einstein was really alluding to is the fact that we live in a self-reflective universe, and nowhere does that show up better than in the example I'm going to give with these 3 words, because depending on which side of the fence you are, it's going to have a dramatically different impact. Let me demonstrate. The first type of people that I want to assess here is really the victim mentality. We've all been there at some point. The first 2 words are the same for all of the different types of people, which are feel great. But as a victim mentality person, you're playing the game of feel great if. In other words, I'd feel great if I didn't have this problem. I'd feel great if, I was able to get out of debt. I'd feel great if one day if my magic fairy comes along and gives me what I want, then I'll be okay. There's very little energy in the victim mode. In fact, when you go back to the self-reflective understanding, if you're standing in front of the mirror and you are putting on victim clothes, metaphorically, the mirror can only reflect back evidence of victimhood. This is where I see a lot of people who say, oh, well, no, you either live in a friendly universe or not, and if God was friendly, then this wouldn't happen. I got news for you. I saw a great meme the other day where it had Jesus sitting on a park bench talking to a homeless person. And the homeless person essentially said, hey, how can you allow homelessness and poverty and war? Jesus turned around and said, in this meme, well, it's funny you should bring that up because I was about to ask you the very same question. See, if we go back to the mirror, and the mirror has an inherent want or desire to love you. It wants you to stand in front of it with a hero cape. But if you stand in front with a frown because it's not smiling back first, its job, regardless of how much it loves you or how benevolent it may be, is to reflect back what's standing in front of it. The problem with the victim mentality is that you may get glimpses of hope, but it's fleeting. There is no power within there. You've essentially signed up as an unpaid film extra in some big budget, hopeless disaster drama movie, and you're sitting there hoping that somebody else is going to write a better script. Doesn't happen. A lot of the time, if we go through the victim mentality, we usually realize after a set period that it's not working out, so we get motivated, we get off our butt, we look at life through a different lens, we snap out of it, whatever it may be, and we move in to the next level, which is the achiever mentality. Now, when it comes to the achievers, they play a different game. Instead of playing feel great if, their 3 words are feel great when. Why? Because they've set goals. They can see the target. I'm going to 10x my income. I'm going to go get the car. I'm going to get the body that I want. And when I get there, I'm going to feel great. And they're motivated. They're taking responsibility for running down that path. They're not sitting on their sorrows or their story explaining why it's somebody else's fault that they can't. So achievers, which is the vast majority of people in personal growth, are often playing the game of feel great when. The challenge with that, if you've not already discovered, you're either busy and hustling and exhausted, or you're busy and hustling, not yet exhausted, but soon will be. And the challenge is that a lot of people, when they get burnt out playing the achiever game, often drop back into victim to catch their breath until they realize that's really not who they are or where they are, and they get back on the horse and go try it again with the next business or the next goal or the next idea. But there's a kind of cycling around that. And part of that is because, again, going back to the mirror analogy, the self-reflective universe, if you're saying feel great when, then the mirror's job is to reflect back more evidence of when, i.e., not now. So it's almost like you're running east looking for a sunset. It's just the wrong strategy. And what most people do is they think, oh, I know, I need better sneakers. Oh, I know, I need to hire a more expensive personal trainer. Oh, I know, I need a better diet. Then I'll finally get the sunset and then I'll finally feel great. You can have the best sneakers, the best diet, the best trainer, the best stamina. But if you're running east looking for a sunset, I got news for you. It's the strategy that's wrong. And that's where most people in personal growth, unfortunately, end up bouncing between these two. But those that seem to have it together, those that have mastered the law of attraction, are playing a different game. The 3 words that they use are feel great now. Not feel great when I get my first million, feel great when I finally lose the 50 pounds of overweight that I've been carrying. No, because they understand that vibrating or oscillating at a certain frequency will attract certain levels of situation that will support them in their goal. But if you're looking at your bank account and it's low, you're not playing the game of I'm upset, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I'm not good enough. You're playing the game of feel great now regardless. Just as if you were overweight and you stood in front of the mirror, that's not reflecting back what you had for breakfast that day. It's reflecting back a historical aspect of the choices you've made over time, weeks, months, years for many people. But you don't say, oh, I'm upset, therefore I can't lose weight, oh, a new body's not available. No, you realize that just happens to be based upon the choices you've made, and now you're going to make different choices, and you're going to get excited and start loving the body you have that's brought you to this place so that you can choose where to take it from here, enjoying the journey. Let's take that to a bank account. I look at my bank account, it's not full, but I'm not playing the victim game. I'm not playing the I need to bust my ass, hustle and make money game. You're playing the game, feel great now. Now what that does, it makes you a resourceful person in a resourceful state that's going to spot and attract opportunities. People want to do business with people that have that level of equanimity, not people that are running around trying to hustle, make a few quid off your participation in their gig. So if you can understand that feel great now, regardless of what's going on in the outer world, are the 3 words that'll help you become a manifester rather than just an achiever that's on their way to burnout for most people, or certainly not down in victim mode, you're going to have an edge over everybody else trying to practice what it is that you're going to master. The challenge is, it takes a degree of self-mastery on the inner game to transcend or outgrow your sense data. If my eyes are telling me my bank account is low, how do I override my emotional response that's been conditioned by society to say I should be upset? Rather than use that as a way to say, oh, that's just a reflection of choices I've made and decisions I've taken in the past. It's not who I am. Who I am is somebody who's abundant. And as a result of that, I'm playing feel great now. And as a result, the mirror starts to then reflect back over time evidence of you now wearing abundance clothes in front of it, not getting upset because you're not seeing evidence in the mirror first. If that really makes sense, leave me a comment below. If you'd like to learn how to become the kind of person who steps up and is able to walk through life being more emotionally mature because they can override their sense data with levels of feel great now, then I run a certification program that allow people to become the example and the invitation for others so you can be an impact not only in your family or your community. It's a leadership program that really is getting people to appreciate and encode into their DNA the essence of what this is. It doesn't mean to say you're walking around with your head in the sand or up in the clouds ignoring everything, but where do you live versus where do you visit? See, my students live in feel great now and occasionally visit feel great when or feel great if. But that's like saying I can go to the gym and I live more in the gym, which means I can visit Domino's Pizza once in a while. It's not going to do a lot. For most people, they live in feel great if or feel great when. That's like living in McDonald's or Domino's. You could go to the gym once in a while. It's not going to do a lot. If you want to live more here, where you have joy, fulfillment, levels of calm, stress-proof, and not get thrown or blown around by most of everybody else's drama, then take a look at the training I've got for my certification. or if not, just go out and make sure that you're now aware of how to use these 3 words in a way that empowers you rather than disempowers you. If that was useful, leave a comment, check out the training, and I'll see you on another video soon.